You know what I think the world could use a lot more of? Edutainment games. We've all seen the news. Education on the decline. What are we to do about it? Well, have I a suggestion for you? Jumpstart. A ton of these educational computer games were produced. I myself had Jumpstart First Grade Reading and Jumpstart First Grade Math, which I prefer the math one. But I'm a big boy now. I just graduated high school. What am I to play now?
Yup, that's right. We're going to be looking at Jumpstart 3rd Grade. The game starts off by asking for your name so it can create a profile for you and save your progress. You can already see I'm older than the target demographic because I'm just entering random stuff into my channel. You start off in this schoolhouse set place. There's a lot of different things you can click on and you can interact and do fun things. You can't jump out the window, though I tried. Oh, what's this? Okay, that must have had like glue or something on it, and apparently the music is telling me that I just caused the end of the world.
Hey, you've got that, the transquizzer. Now be careful with that thing. Don't drop it.
Who are you to tell me what to do with it? You barely even look like you know what it's called. Oh yeah, I bet you feel bad, don't you?
I am Android XL2, but you can call me Botley. That's what Professor Spark calls me.
Yeah, but I don't look like Professor Spark now, do I? So anyways, good old Android XL2 here tells us the main plot of this story. The scientist's daughter, Polly, sent 25 robots back in time to change the course of history.
An orangutan has just been elected president of the United States in a landslide.
Wait a minute, is that the meme metal pipe? Oh my god, it totally is!
Oh, that was funny.
So the whole reason that Polly changed time is because she put joke answers down on her history test and her teacher marked them as wrong, and so Polly decided to go back in time and change all of the answers to make them right. And then Botley hears this and is like, okay dude, what the flip? The first minigame you do to get into the mountain is really easy. You just have to match the colors and the sounds. It's really easy unless you don't pay attention and are dumb like me.
That wasn't right. Try again.
After you complete the first minigame, Botley gives you a gift, and that's, oh no, what?
It's the utility belt that Professor Spark designed.
Yeah, utility belt. Say whatever you want, you dirty guy. Now, once you're inside the mountain, you use the transquizzer to pick a mission. Each one of these quiz discs comes with 5 new missions once you complete the 5 you are assigned. And as you can see, the changes in history that Polly made are pretty significant, to the point where she's basically killing people with the changes she made. On each mission, you are also free to explore parts of the mountain. It doesn't really do anything, but it just will create a quick little animation every now and then. Now, no matter what you do not click on this, though, because you just have to do the stupid door minigame again.
Now, to complete each mission, you have to beat 4 minigames and obtain a mission clue upon beating each one. Now, these minigames can teach you anything from math, science, or reading. I don't know if these minigames are selected randomly or if there's a set order, but I did compare them with another YouTuber and I did a chi-squared test for goodness of fit. See, now this is why I loved AP Statistics. I mean, I'll do these kind of calculations for fun. Come on, College Board, give me that 5, give me that 5, come on!
And you know me, I like to rank things, so I'm gonna rank all 8 minigames. Which, okay, admittedly, it's 8, it's not that much, but you know, okay, here we go, do it anyway. Oh my god, I hate the shrinking machine so much. So somehow, Polly managed to put a mission clue inside the DNA of one of the specimens. And it's our job to find out which one and get the mission clue. So this first part really isn't that bad. You know, they'll give you a clue and you gotta match up the clue to what you heard. It's pretty simple information. But then once you're inside the specimen, you have to play this stupid breakout clone, which is horrible because you can't even control where Mr. Android XL2 goes. Now I know what you're thinking.
Oh, Ben, this one really doesn't look that bad. I think you're just bad at this game meant for
3rd graders. No. Look at this one. There are unbreakable black molecules that you just have to sit around and hope Botley gets through. Then there are these, which will block your path and send you in a random direction. And then there are these teleporters that make the game a huge pain because now you have to wait even longer before you break the center. That's the other thing. You don't even know if you picked the right specimen until you break the final molecule. Most of the times it's not a problem. But then I got this clue,
Find the flower that people like to eat.
and I saw this thing about sunflower seeds, and I was like, oh, okay, it must be sunflower, easy. And then I went through this whole process just for the game to be like, oh, bummer, wrong one, buddy. Guess you better do this whole thing again. So then I found broccoli and had to do the whole thing over again and wait even longer just because I read the wrong specimen and there were two that had virtually the same answer. Anyways, yeah, that's the shrinking machine. Worst minigame. Alright, so now that the shrinking machine is out of the way, now we're on to all of the minigames that I actually enjoy playing. However, at the bottom of the list, it's the painting gallery, because it's just too simple. You walk in and Polly shares a story about a painting she wants you to write. This little spider thing sews it out, and you gotta read it. Now, any of these green highlighted words or phrases you have to put into the photo. It'll usually be a background or a few images you have to place. Occasionally, it'll even be a sound, which I didn't even know was an option and caused Polly to get mad at me.
Let's see what Polly thinks. Hey, Polly! I don't hear any flies buzzing.
And caused me to throw in a bunch of random stuff because I was like, well, maybe I don't know what a fly is. I don't know. But yeah, this whole minigame you could do in under a minute, which makes it really easy, and even though it's not frustrating, it just kind of feels boring, which is why it's down here on the list. The Music Hall is the first minigame on this list that basically has two minigames built into it. To get into the Music Hall, you have to unscramble these words, and it's basically just the New York Times strands because they all have a common theme, and at the end you have to unscramble the theme. This guy named Spothoven can give you a hint if you need help on what the word is. However, I don't really need hints on what the word is, I just need hints on how to spell nickel. I mean, come on, look at this. Look at this. This is so bad. This is so embarrassing. And yet I'm posting it on YouTube. There you go. After you're done unlocking the door, you can mess around on the keyboard and get to the actual minigame. Polly will give you 4 lines of music that are scrambled, and you have to unscramble them and make the actual song. The songs are pretty popular and are pretty easy to tell what it is just based off of listening to it. However, if you need, you can have this guy play it for you in whatever instrument you choose. You can even turn homie into a whole bass. I mean, look at that. Bro just does that willingly. It's actually kind of fun. I think it's kind of useful that it's teaching people how to read music. Also, at the end, you get this sick remix of whatever song you did, and okay, Botley really doesn't look like he's into it. He's just like, I don't got paid enough to be here. 9 cents an hour. Gotta teach these damn kids that they don't even pay attention. They don't even know how to spell nickel. Look at that. Alright, now we're getting into the bangers. The Robot Mates is a surprisingly complex minigame to have taught to 3rd graders. Instead of teaching subjects like math or science, this one teaches programming and, like, directions, I guess. Using all of the program you're given on the left, you have to get this robot to go to the bottom left corner to retrieve the box. Now this one seems pretty easy, however, you might have missed when I said all of the program. That's right, sometimes there'll be a straight shot with the code, but you'll have to use more because there's a log you have to cross or something. Now, coming from someone who programmed literal Lego robots, you may be surprised to see that this one is number 5 on the list. However, there's one big thing that drags this one down. It's really difficult. The hardest thing about these ones are these teleporters that transport the robot to a different area. There's no real indicators where you'll land, so you just have to use trial and error. Now, it could just be me not knowing where to go, and it's super obvious to you guys. However, keep in mind, I'm an adult here. If 3rd graders were playing this, I don't even think they'll have the reasoning to know where to go. Now, with that being said, I am a level 3 main, so I am playing on the hardest difficulty, and maybe they expect that adults are going to come back, so they gotta make it more challenging. But if that's the case, then why are other minigames still painfully easy? Anyways, they might have just made this one too hard, but it still deserves a good top 5 spot. Next, we have the second minigame that is hidden in the painting gallery. It's the Professor's Virtual Collection. Polly will say something about a piece of art that's hidden in the collection, and it's your job to find which one. Miss Beasley will give you a better clue of what to look for, and you gotta scroll through the gallery until you find the right one. However, if it were just finding the right piece of artwork, that would make 2 very easy minigames in the art gallery. Thus, Polly will come on the screen and give you something else to do as you have to, oh wow, what is this? Okay, well this might seem daunting at first, it's actually really easy. You just have to match up words or occasionally photos. As long as you start with one word you know and then just take it piece by piece, it's actually pretty easy, and it's kind of rewarding when you get it done. I don't really have anything else to say about this one, it's just a solid minigame. The observatory is probably the most complex minigame in the entire game. It starts off with Polly sending a transmission into a literal black hole. What? So Android XL2 in this fisheye lens tells you how to get the radio waves out of the black hole, but yo, it's actually awesome. You control whatever the heck this is, and you get to shoot the radio waves, and you get to shoot asteroids, and you get to deflect comments. Look at the mad jukes. Look at that. Once you have the whole transmission, you send it into the alien decoder. Wait a minute. Does that mean Polly sent the transmission in an alien language? How does she know how to speak that? Decoding the message is pretty easy. You just have to rearrange the words into sentences and then use some grammar knowledge. Once you have the whole message, one of these two mystical voices will read out the message to you. And then you have to choose which constellation it's talking about. Now, if you really want to, you can try and guess what constellation it is based off of what it looks like or what this thing says to you. But the best part is, if you can't do it, you can just click randomly on constellations until Botley will give you the answer. I didn't get any footage of it, but it's a hack you can use. Once you find the right constellation, the ship will speed towards you at supersonic speeds, and then this robot will be like, I've got something for you, and then you get the mission clue. The Professor's Biosphere is probably the most video game-like minigame. Polly has hidden a mission clue somewhere in the biosphere, and you have to try and find where it is. However, you are spawned in under the biosphere, so you have to navigate your way through the crust and try and get to the surface. You'll run into each of these airlocks where Polly will ask you a question about an animal, sometimes leading with a very crazy statement like this.
Nothing like a nice roadkill sandwich, huh, Rotley?
Dang, they just be saying anything in this game. Once you pass through all 5 airlocks, you have to choose which biome your answers most likely fit in. There are 5 different biomes: desert, rainforest, savanna, mountains, and ocean. You have 2 tries to try and guess the right biome, but you can use the spacebar to drop a hint if you need. Also, you gotta land on the landing pad very slowly, because if you go even just the tiniest bit fast, you take damage. And that is the one thing preventing this minigame from being number 1. It is ridiculously hard. Not difficult in the sense that Polly's questions she asks to you are difficult to answer, but difficult in the fact that this explorer does not control how you think it does. You use the up key on your keyboard to accelerate, and left and right to rotate. So even though you want to press the up key to move forward, you're only speeding up. This makes it really easy to take damage, and really easy to die and have to start the whole thing over. The other downside with this game is this is one of the biggest areas where the game will glitch out. For some reason, if you enter this airlock on the left a little too fast, your explorer will just keep moving. And once it hits the wall in the second room it's been in, then you'll answer the question, and then the game crashes. So that means you gotta enter this airlock really slowly, or else you have to repeat the entire section. It's a really fun minigame, it just has a steep learning curve and it isn't well polished, so that's why it's number 2 on this list. But if this is number 2, then what could number 1 be? Well, unless you've played this game before, you still probably don't know, but here's number 1. Man, no wonder the kitchen is at the top of the list, because it is bussin'. This is the other minigame where you have to unlock the door to get in. However, instead of unscrambling words, this time you're solving math problems. 1 addition, 1 subtraction, and 1 multiplication. The controls are a little weird because you can only enter 1 box at a time, and if you need to take from another column in subtraction, you need to click over the number you want to take from it. It's kind of weird. Now once you're in the kitchen, you meet Mort, and Mort is a big boy, and I think Squidward Tentacles said it best.
A big boy's gotta eat.
So Mort will request a dish, and you have to put 4 ingredients into it. The ingredients will be normal things like strawberries, and cream, and salt, and sugar, or it'll be other things like axle grease, and gears, and I don't know, other things robots like. You have to measure the right amount of each ingredient, and then put it into the bowl. If you mess it up, you have to hit this lever and do that ingredient again. This one is definitely the best minigame. It's not as complex as the Biosphere or the Observatory, but it does a good job at keeping simple. But even though it's simple, it still can be challenging. On level 3, you have to measure out the right amount of molecules for some ingredients, and it can be kind of challenging to measure. But once the food is ready, Mort inhales it all, and then he's like, these flavors are melting off my tongue. And then you get the mission clue. Now, there is a mini game you need to do whenever you have to replenish your energy, and you just have to do some multiplication and division. However, I couldn't record it with my recording software, so this is what it looks like when it's over. The last step in each mission is to play this game called Pollywood Squares. So this thing called Monty Monitor will ask you a series of questions based off of the mission clues. The first question is about the mission clue, and then it will transition into either what, where, when, or who invented the thing you are looking for. They're pretty simple trivia questions, and it's a good way to get kids to learn other facts, like fermentation? Okay, that's a little weird, but surely it can't get any more out of pocket than, oh my, can they say that? Your next step is to go into the time machine, where you just kind of sit there. Botley will take you back in time, and you'll see what the robot was about to do, and then you press the recall button, and then you get the robot back, and there you go. After each mission, you bring the robot back to the robot roost, which will slowly fill up over time. Once you've collected all 25 robots, Polly will begin her evil monologue of, oh, well, there's still extra credit, and extra credit means more, so Botley, you're going back to the Big Bang. No, not Android XL2, he'll die in the Big Bang. But right before Polly can send Botley back in time, she talks about, oh yeah, my dad told me not to use the time machine, but I did it anyway, and he'd be proud of me. He's right behind me, isn't he? And then after all that happens, Botley's just kind of like, well, there you go. And yeah, that's Jumpstart 3rd grade. I gotta admit, if I was a kid playing this, I'd probably have a blast. Now at times it can get annoying because Botley is kind of a yapper.
You know, I just don't feel right playing around with the gadgets and games here when there are robots to rescue. Please, let's start a mission.
However, I like the plot and I like all the mini-games. It's really satisfying.
But I think the most important takeaway here is that I saved history. I mean, come on, you saw Polly trying to make her electric drum kit saxophone. If it weren't for me, this little baby would have never gotten made. Good night, Los Angeles!